Alrighty. All right. Friday afternoon. We're going to do some video game talk. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining. It's your boy Unlimited Production. And we're going to talk some video games. We're going to talk some Xbox, and we're going to, well, I'm going to shut this shit down basically. And by shut this shit down, I mean I'm shutting down this narrative, the new narrative of Starfield going to is pretty much Xbox last chance of success. Hey, what's up, Cisno Elite? And so as I speak today, chat, come in, enjoy, leave as many comments. This is gonna be one of those episodes where I could chill with the chat basically. So y'all feel free to bring your A game, and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time on this Friday afternoon, and then after a little while, we're gonna go back to enjoying our weekend. We all got a bunch of gaming to do, a lot going on. So yeah, everybody, if you want to comment. I'm gonna be hanging out with the chat, talking some video games and debunking Destin Legarie and Paul Tassi. Uh, because now that the Redfall hate train is over, and now that Redfall is going to have more, I guarantee is going to have more players and more success than a lot of games. They're moving on to Starfield, and they're trying to create this false narrative, right? Of Starfield is going to be the end all be all of Xbox. Of and if this game is quote unquote bad, which it won't be bad. Not even close. But if the game is bad, then I guess that's the end. And so I'm going to show a bunch of reasons why it's not even going to be remotely close to the end. You know, um, and so when I see stuff like this, Destin Legarie, with Redfall, huge disappointment after months of no shows. Xbox has one last shot of keeping his fans on board. Okay, stuff like this whole article is just not true. Um, First of all, after months of no shows, Hi-Fi Rush came out this year, guys. Why, and this is the short-term memory that I talk about often, where one of the best games of the year that I've played, an extremely fun game, they're deliberately ignoring it, and now that Hi-Fi Rush has been released, now that we know it's a hit, now that we know it reviewed well, it hit all the checkbox, something new, a new IP, fun game, and so on. I've seen a lot of downplaying. I've seen a lot of downplaying. Just know where now I've seen it as well. It's just a 10-hour game. It's not a big game. It's just a $30 game, whatever the case is. And then in many cases, like here, it's just flat out ignored. It's flat out ignored as they jump as they jump uh, uh as they jump headfirst into the Starfield narrative. Now, Starfield, I guarantee is going to be a hit. Sorry, guys. Um, and and so yeah, Xbox fans are still longing for a meaty AAA experience exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. Thanks a lot. Okay, come on. So let me get this straight. In 2021, when Forza Horizon 5 came out, that wasn't a meaty experience. A meaty experience when Halo came out, that wasn't meaty. When Psychonauts 2 came out, that wasn't meaty. You see what I'm saying here? Uh, the the goalpost is always going to be moved, right? But it's being moved to a level that's just nonsense. Xbox fans are still they every are is this are we gonna is this going to be the thing we're going to see before every AAA game that Xbox fans are longing for a big game? Are we going to? We saw this shit years ago with Forza. Oh, it's just a racing game. All right, cool. Well, then Halo. Oh, well, it's just another Halo. Redfall. Well, the game is trash. Well, it's Starfield. Well, no, no. I would have listen. If Xbox was this bad for that long, I would have been sold my Xbox. I'm telling you right now, guys. I'm an Xbox fan because I love the games they make first and foremost. From the I've been an Xbox fan for a long time, but I've been a hardcore Xbox fan, the level that I'm which now that I do shit like this, make podcasts like this, because of games like Sunset Overdrive, because of games like Quantum Break, because it wasn't only the Gears 4, wonderful game. Gears 5 was my game of the year back in 2019 for a reason. Excellent game, right? So when I see stuff about how Xbox fans are longing for this AAA experience, I just don't see it. And here's the kicker. I own a PlayStation 5. I own a PlayStation 5. I've given credit to Spider-Man because I had fun with that game. But when I play Horizon Forbidden Entertainment and I'm bored out my mind and I refuse to go back to the game, I'm not going to sit here and give that game more credit than Redfall, game I actually have fun with. I don't care how pretty the graphics are. I don't care about the lush open world. What I care about at the end of the day is am I having fun? I was not having fun playing that fucking boring game. Uh right. Um and and So and then here's another interesting part. All right, elsewhere, Xbox has success with smaller releases like Tunic, Pentiment, and High on Life. High on Life is a AAA game. You go to if you want to buy that game, you know how much that game is right now? $60. That's AAA full price. That's not a smaller game. Um, and I suppose you could give him credit for the PS release. Yeah, no, don't spare me on the PS release thing because Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, the PlayStation fans didn't play those games when they were on PlayStation. The moment those two games came to Game Pass, guess what? 5 million players, 3 million players. Matter of fact, let me see, because there were zero numbers on both games, right? There were zero number on both games before they hit it. Okay, here it is. Bingo. All right. Ghostwire Tokyo crosses 4 million players weeks after Xbox launch. You notice we didn't see those numbers, Destin, when it was on PlayStation. So no, I'm not giving credit to PlayStation because they paid for it to be on there a year later, right? Uh, and and again, there's always the but qualifier, But despite the universal praise for Hi-Fi Rush, a surprise hit of 2023, Xbox fans are still that's this is just that is just such an insanely a modernist take, right? Take here's in my 30 years of gaming, guys, I've never seen a take like this where yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is one of the best games of the year, but that's not good enough. What? Excuse me? No, that's not how it works. Right? And Shizno said, we all know Twitter and the media will treat Starfield just like they did Redfall. If it was multi-plat or PlayStation exclusive, they wouldn't have a problem with either of them. Yes, Shizno, you're absolutely right. They're gonna show hate towards Starfield, and it's gonna be a hit. It's gonna be a bona fide hit, right? Here comes the list wars. By contrast, look at what PlayStation has accomplished in the same time. The same time as what? Because so far you just mentioned 2023, but look, okay, he might mean some years round, right? So PlayStation Returnal garbage. Not only was Returnal terrible, it only sold 500,000. Right? So a game that sold less than 1 million is a hit. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Ooh, yay! The 15th Ratchet and Clank. The Last of Us. Listen, I shit on The Last of Us a lot, but I'm gonna put an asterisk on The Last of Us because I'm never gonna play the game. Look, guys, I'm not just because I have a PlayStation, I'm not obligated to play their exclusives. Same applies to Xbox, right? Where and you're never gonna see me play this fucking game, The Last of Us, because it looked terrible to me in 2013. It looks even worse now that the game was resold on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. Gran Turismo 7 flopped. Horizon Forbidden Entertainment, one of the worst open world games I've ever played. And guys, I'm an open world game fanboy. I love open world games. If there are two types of games you'll see me defend, it'll be some form of RPG or open world game. And when the rest of the gaming world says that, oh man, these open world games are so draining, they take forever, this and that. I'm one of the few who sits there and said, nah, give me more. Give me more Assassin's Creed. Give me more Starfield. Give me more Redfall. My most hype game for Xbox. It's not the Gears and Halos. It's the Avoweds. It's the Fables. So Horizon should have been right up my alley. That's why I gave credit to Spider-Man. Right up my alley. Love superhero games, right? And God of War Ragnarok. That shit was boring bullshit too. But okay, I get what he means. It has the credit, gets the awards, it gets the review scores, blah 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 blah. Not to mention updates that enhance PlayStation version. Whoa, no, Destin. We're not playing that because the enhancements we got on Xbox, like Gears 5, was free. Sony made you pay $70 for The Last of Us. Sony made you pay for the PlayStation 5 version of what's that one that's set in feudal Japan? Oh man, I forgot what it's called. Ghost. Not Ghostwire Tokyo. The other Ghost of Tsushima. The Ghost of Tsushima came out what 2020 on the PlayStation 4. They made you pay for the PlayStation 5. So when you say update the enhanced, no, Xbox are the one who updates and enhance their games. Sony gives you fucking these remasters and remakes and make you pay for them again. You know, and there's the handful of other exclusives like Stray, Kenya, Final Fantasy remake, and the director's cut a smash. Okay, Ghost of Tsushima Def. Again, now I hope you guys see what Destin's trying to pull here. So he ignores. See, when it comes to Hi-Fi Rush, that's not good enough. But hey, look at how great Stray was, a game where you play as a cat. And I don't mean a cool cat like 808 who was your sidekick. And Hi-Fi Rush. No, you literally just play as a cat, and I think you try to stop robots or some shit. Kena, Bridges of Spirits. PlayStation fans didn't buy or play that. Final Fantasy VII remake. Oh yeah, Sony had to drop millions upon millions to keep that game off Xbox. And then Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding again. Another so he leaves out the context of, hey, Sony made you pay for these games, but you know what you didn't have to pay for? The free update of Gears 5 the fact that you could play Hellblade right now, 60 frames per second on your Xbox Series S and X, that you didn't have to pay a dime. But yeah, hey, Hi-Fi Rush, one of the best games of the year. But Xbox fans still aren't happy. I'm you don't speak for me, Destin, because I am ecstatic for I love what Xbox is doing. And Shinjo said, yeah, they have such short memories and love to ignore anything good Xbox ever do. Yes, they do, Shizno. Because according to these guys, a year like 2021 might as well happen in like 1986 to these guys. Where it's such a long time ago that if you're playing Halo right now because you love Halo, that shouldn't count. But yet but yet they do the usual thing of listing every PlayStation game, even though most of them just aren't good or fun. The article's out of touch. Hey, Issa, how are you doing? The article's out of touch. What it should really say is Peppa Pig 2 is Xbox Last Chance. Yeah, yeah. That's the game that hangs on Xbox fate, right? Peppa Pig 2, based off that kitty cartoon. They're going to keep moving the goalposts. Yes, they are, Shizno. And I can't wait to see what new goalposts they come up with next. Because this one that I've seen from both Destin Legarie and Paul Tassi, this idea that Xbox is somehow going to die or their fans are going to abandon the platform, whatever the case is, if Starfield isn't good, which it will be, is irrelevant. Actually, here's what they're really ignoring. And I'm going to step away for a second. So the reality is, no, when they move goalposts, what they ignore is that what Xbox fans do, they end up just rallying around the games that they hate. That's why I stated in K2, a game that I've hyped up forever is still being played, still gets free content. Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves did not hit 33 million players because people listened to it being an empty game or broken. No, broken wasn't the criticism Sea of Thieves had, but I think it was lack of content. I think that was it. Sea of Thieves just said we're just going to move forward. a community really gravitated towards that game, and now it's a new hit for Xbox. So when he says stuff like Starfield is going to set the narrative, or Starfield really feels like Xbox last chance to redemption. Redemption for what? He's not. Xbox isn't coming out of prison and trying to fix their fucking life like an ex-convict. They make video games, and their video games is clearly do fine. Shinzo again said it's funny how they didn't have a problem with arcane graphic style for Deathloop, but had it for Redfall. Yeah, spot on. Spot on. And both Deathloop and Redfall look fantastic. And they both have that signature arcane style DNA. But I say this. I do like the gameplay loop of Redfall more than Deathloop. Deathloop had I think the gimmick with Deathloop, in my opinion, this is my opinion, it kind of hurt it a little bit because to me it took away a little bit of the freedom that I tend to enjoy. Redfall's is a free freedom. It gives you the freedom to do damn near anything. You want to tackle missions how you want, go ahead. You want to do nests now, go ahead. You want to tackle main quests, go ahead. You want to do side quests, go ahead. And after and you feel that, and I felt that way almost immediately with the game, Shizno. Yeah, Starfield is 100% going to be huge. Others Inc. said Returnal break PlayStation 5s. Yes, they did. And I still remember that one YouTuber, The Amazing Lucas, ranting Others Inc. How Sony didn't give him a Returnal, even though that game was. And then here's another thing. When that was happening, Sony did not take the developers Housemarque. They did not defend them. They actually blamed them when Housemarque was saying no. The PlayStation 5 was the reason. The hardware of the PlayStation 5 was the reason for Returnal issues. Sony said, "Nah, fuck y'all. It's y'all fault, basically." Ratchet and Clank Garbage 17 iteration. Yep. And with franchises like Ratchet and Clank, and that they've been successful for so long, of course they're going to have a lot of iterations. My issue isn't that there are 17 iterations of the game. It's that you're allowed to praise to these guys. You're allowed to praise that. But if we say, "Hey man, I loved Halo," it's another Halo. Oh, I love Gears. Oh, another Gears. And there are not 17 fucking Gears games. There are not 17 Halo games. There aren't 17 Forza games. And Forza has two majorly successful franchises of Motorsport and Horizon. And there still aren't as many. Shinzo Lee said, "I like Returnal, but it didn't sell worth a crap." And we heard recently our PlayStation 5 excuses don't sell well at all. Yes, exactly, Shizno. And listen, Returnal had something like 500,000, sold like 500,000 copies. It didn't light the world on fire, not even remotely close. The game, and the game was kind of off-putting, I believe, because a lot of people found it hard. And I think that game also had an always online feature when it released. And feel free to correct me there, but if I remember correctly, Returnal what had you could not play that game, or it was something in the lines that you couldn't pause the game or something like that, or your progression would end until you finish the level. I'm trying to remember what the controversy was when it first released. But I do remember that there is a situation with Returnal, Shinzo, where it pretty much functions like an always online game. Gran Turismo 7 DRM only with Mario Kart physics. Yep. Yeah, Gran Turismo has terrible physics. It's a terrible game from a series that peaked in what is considered the best Gran Turismo game. See, I'm not too. I'm not. Listen, I've never been Gran Turismo. Even when it was at peak popularity, wasn't really my thing. At the time when that game was super hot, I was more into games like Midnight Club and Need for Speed, especially the Need for Speed Underground era. That was my favorite of the arcade racing games at that time. And then what sold me on sim racers was Forza Motorsport. That's what really sold me on sim racers, because I was all in on arcade racing for the longest. But with sim racers, they're a little hard for me to get into. I admit, until 2017, when I got my Xbox One X, and the very first game I played on it was Forza Motorsport 7, and I was blown away. And D Gamer, I do agree with you. Starfield would be a huge set, but Redfall so bad. Then why is it the second most played game on Game Pass? Exactly, D Gamer. Okay. So, and here's the thing: Redfall is not free of criticism. I'm gonna say it right now and bluntly. Redfall is not free. No game is free of criticism. I don't care how much I love Sunset Overdrive. There's going to be people who had an issue with it because that's how opinions work, and we all have opinions. And there's going to be some people who do think Redfall is bad. Okay, however, Redfall isn't some terrible unplayable game. I'm sorry, I played too much of it. I played way too much of Redfall to fall for this belief that it's the worst AAA game I've ever played, and all the other hyperbole I saw around it. It's a fun game with that's arcane through and through. Is it as good as my favorite series, Dishonored? No, no, and it's going to be almost impossible to top Dishonored because Dishonored is a stealth game first, not an open world horror shooter. Horizon Forbidden Entertainment was super bugly with Alloy running under the map. Yes, that's right. There was a lot of bugs when that game first came out, and it was all ignored. It was all ignored and given every excuse in the book. To a man, Zinc, stop holding back. Man, Zinc, you know how it is, man. Zinc will tell it how it is every single time, and he's gonna give you nothing. He's gonna give you nothing but his best. No joke, I cannot put down Redfall. I got 50 hours already in. It's so freaking fun. Exactly, Shinzo. And for me, listen, I've always said that's my number one barometer. Is it fun? I can work with anything else. Now, and this is even a case where, okay, it's fun, but there are a trillion issues hard to ignore. No, not at all. So yeah, man, I'm glad to see people having fun with it. I'm glad to see the Xbox community rally around the game. I know it's going to be another good hit for Xbox in the end. God of War Ragnarok had the exact same animations as God of War 2018. Oh, that's an excellent point, Zink. That is an excellent point. And here's the thing. You know, when you do sequels with games, you're not necessarily going to get rid of your previously animations, but God of War Ragnarok is just it was clearly a DLC turned into a main game in the sense that it does not you know how you remember how you felt the first time you played Gears 2 as opposed to the first Gears, or for my Assassin's Creed fans, you remember the first time you played Assassin's Creed 2 as opposed to Assassin's Creed 1, or Mass Effect 2 as opposed to Mass Effect 1, and so on. With a lot of those sequels, you felt the jump and you know the next jump and where that series was going. With God of War Ragnarok, it did not feel like the next jump into the God of War series. It just felt like, hey, the first one was ultra successful. Let's just do the same thing. And the developers at Santa Monica was like, all right, cool. And I think exactly. Horizon Forbidden Entertainment and Gran Turismo were buggy as fuck as launch, but nobody complained. Well, people did complain, just not the people like Paul Tassi or Destin Legarie. Instead, Destin Legarie is going to sit here and tell you that oh, that was a heavy hitter. And so let me get this straight. So since 2020, when Xbox has games like Gears Tactics, that don't count. Age of Empires, that don't count. And I get Age of Empires was more of a remaster, but you know what? If he's going to count PlayStation remasters, I'm gonna count Xbox remasters, like Age of Empires. You know, Age of Empires, Hi-Fi Rush, which he discredits. You know, he and then oh, here's another thing. He actually does list other exclusives that aren't part of their first party. Stray and Kena, they aren't first party games. So why can't Xbox fans say, hey, High in Life, that's our game. Ravenlock, that's our game. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, that's our game. Because they're not. You know what I'm saying? So man, I apologize. No, don't apologize. Zink. Go in, man. Go in. That's what you're here for. You can't spell ignorant without IGN. Ah, the classic line, and that's absolutely fact. Hi-Fi Rush, High on Life, Ravenlock, and Ravenfall are all superior games in my opinion. Xbox going to bring it on June 11th. Yes, June 11th. Oh, June 11th is going to be a fantastic day. And D Gamer, don't forget, Sony's doing a show next week on the 24th, which I believe is next Thursday. They're doing a show on the 24th. And you know what it is? You know what it's going to be about, D Gamer? A bunch of PlayStation VR stuff. A bunch of they're probably going to give you, they're probably going to finally give you the release date for Spider-Man. Yay, one game. And a bunch of smoke and mirrors. Which, by smoke and mirrors I mean trailers. And then people are going to sit there. Listen, I guarantee that Sony Showcase next week, D Gamer, will have multiple games with no gameplay, and the same people who bash Xbox for their showing games early or with trailers are not going to have an issue with it. She's the elite. I like Horizon, and Alloy is okay. It's a great idea, but much like Killzone, it's missing something special. Yeah, it's missing fun. That's the special it's missing, Sinzo. Fucking fun. And since I'm not shitting on you for liking the game. That's something I say a lot on here. If you like something I don't, please feel free to like it. Do not let me tell you what to like and dislike. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to speak my mind, talk video games, and have fun. So don't let me, just because I hate that fucking game, don't let me hating it hate make you hate it, basically. But the game still ain't fun. State of Decay 2 just got a huge update and people still play it. I think Redfall is going to be a huge in a year or two, especially if they add some big expansions along with the new heroes. Yes, and that's exactly what they're going to do, Shizno. The only thing I ask for Redfall, excuse me, is that I do hope that they do remove the always online, because the other night when my internet was out, I couldn't play it. That was annoying. That was annoying. And I'm someone who tend to defend almost anything a dev does. But I didn't like that, I never really like always. I don't really like always online games in general. But it sucks when a game that you really, really love, you couldn't play it in that one certain situation. So yeah, so that's the one. So I do hope that they follow through on that, so that if anything ever happens in the future, I can just play it without issue. Forza's the best racing game series in the industry. Yes, I don't even think it's close, D Gamer. I really don't, because Need for Speed, unfortunately, is way past its heyday. Back in the days of like Underground 2, Most Wanted, and all that. Need for Speed was my shit. Used to love it. Those games they were fun, had excellent soundtracks, had a lot of cool customizations. But now, unfortunately, it's unfortunately just a shell of itself. Hey, what's up, Fireball? Thank you for joining on this Friday evening. Just know again. I didn't know what to think of Deathloop for a while. You had to follow directions for a while before it let you use. Redfall had me hooked immediately. Yes, how you put that is exactly how I felt. And that's why I love open world games. It's like the best open world game, Shizno, gives that illusion of freedom. It's not. It's a lot of times an open world game isn't necessarily free, but it does give you this sense of, hey, this is your world. This isn't me. I'm not fitting my character in my world. This is your world, gamer. Do what you want and stuff like that's what made games like the Elder Scrolls such massive hits, and like Fallout, where in those games it's you could play those games, and Redfall's kind of the same way. You could play those games for hours upon end, and the game does not care that you're not doing a main mission. And I love that. I love that, because when I'm playing games, a lot of times, when I play games, the main mission is not on my mind. Hell, I don't know about you guys, but I love when a game does this to me. I'm playing it, and it's like, oh shit, where am I in the story? Because I've been having so fun doing other things. Sony threw Housemark under the bus, and Housemark threw PlayStation under the bus. I can't believe they let Sony buy them. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just no lead. Money talks. At the end of the day, for a lot of people, money talks, and money is their main motivator. And what I think, and what I think is important, is that, okay, make when it comes to making money, make money to where you're secure, but don't put yourself in a situation where you sell out. If that makes sense, definitely have a limit there. It was clear that Housemark just wants, hey, Sony's going to give us a bigger budget than we ever had. It's not going to be Microsoft level big, but it's definitely going to be bigger than if they just stayed independent and doing just. And remember, before that, they were only putting their games on PlayStation anyway. Yes, D gamer. A lot of people are playing and having fun because reviews don't matter. Another game that wasn't so hot for us. Oh, well, tongue tie. Another game that wasn't so hot for Sony was Forspoken, and that was third party exclusive. Yep, and they hyped the hell out of that game, and unfortunately, the developer went under in less than a month after release. And by the way, Shizno likes Forspoken. He loves the game, so that should also show you that's a non Xbox proof that of reviews don't matter. And that's why I'm never going to agree with the likes of Paul Tassi and Destin Legarie trying to tell you, and trying to tell Xbox fans that that Redfall was some terrible game, and we should draw the line and say no more Xbox. Nah, Xbox has given me way too many great memories. Even if I didn't like Redfall, that'd be irrelevant because Grounded was Grounded is the best ignored game ever. And by the way, Grounded gets a lot of content update too. Like Grounded is so ignored, and yet, excuse me, and like Grounded is a game that if you would never think it had 10 million players because for some reason it's a modern game that's ignored. And I often hear a lot of times people say, "Oh, but nobody talked about this." And it's always something that's super old. Like when the Indiana games was announced just now, and people said, "But nobody talks about Indiana." Well, that's because the fucking Indiana Jones games were on the original Xbox. Nobody talks about 20-year-old game. But Grounded is a 1-year-old, just officially released last September, so it's less than a year old, and it's successful, but it gets ignored by the general gaming media. Thankfully, Redfall's getting more players. Redfall isn't perfect, but it's awesome. Yep, exactly. Not perfect, but awesome. And I'm okay with that. I don't need every game to blow my mind because every game can't be revolutionary or else it will lose all meaning. And then nothing could be innovative or revolutionary or big. Games could be successful, games could be fun, games could be good and still have their issues. And still have you know what I'm saying? D Gamer. My first racing game was Project Gotham Racing for the original Xbox. Yeah, that was a classic too. But I'm gonna be real with you. As great as Project Gotham was on the OG, it was games like Midnight Club and Need for Speed that I was playing more in that 2002 to 2005 era. I love going stealthy in Redfall. It's awesome how many ways you can attack missions. Yep. And when I realized that, just know that's how I knew I was playing an arcane game because a lot of them are like that where because remember, and Dishonored, as much as I love Dishonored, the one thing I didn't like is that the more you killed, the worse your ending would be. I hate that as a concept because video games gameplay is often violent, and I don't like the idea of being punished for playing my way. Redfall does not have that restriction. You're killing fucking vampires and cultists. So the game is like, okay, have fun. They're not going to punish you for it. Fun is all that mattered. Yep, it's the biggest barometer for me. Like I'll say this: if a game is fun and had issues, I'm not going to put it over a game that was fun and had no issues. You know what I'm saying? Or a game that was fun that I loved over a game that's it's pretty but it's boring. Like Red Dead Redemption 2. I know the game was massively popular, but I gotta be honest. I thought the game was boring as hell. I have 43 hours in Redfall, more later tonight. Yep, same here, Zink. More. Listen, when I'm off this podcast, it's Friday night, and I don't got nothing going on. So I'm going to kick back on my Xbox and play some Redfall. Excuse me. Forza Motorsport is going to be awesome. Looking forward to its release. Yes, I am. So I saw something. Apparently, the rumor, D gamers, that on June 11th is going to give it an October release. Which, if that happens, again, I just can't see how Xbox fans are going to bitch about having Starfield in September, Forza in October. yeah. Okay, okay, Destin. I get two of the biggest games that are going to be two of the best, including the best racing series ever. And you're going to tell me that you're going to tell me fucking Redfall is where is that Starfield's their last redemption. All right, you see how once you think about stuff like that, just for a minute, how it all breaks down so quickly. Benedict Fox is really good. Yeah, man, those puzzles were tough. I give it that. But I like what they had going with Last Case of Benedict Fox. Can't wait for Xbox Showcase. We get the Starfield Showcase and a lot other. Yeah, it's going to be 2 hours. And so I'm thinking the first hour and 10 minutes, I mean, not hour and 10 minutes, hour and a half to hour and 40 minutes is going to be everything else. And then the last 30 to 20 minutes is going to be just all Starfield. And then, Todd Howard's going to announce a collector's edition or something. And my ass is getting my wallet ready right now, because I'm telling you, if there's a Starfield controller, collector's edition or something of that force or console, I'm buying that bitch day one. I don't know, Zink. I don't know, because since this is an Xbox channel, I gotta admit I'm not going to watch the Sony showcase live. Listen, it's just not going to happen. I never watch Sony shows live because I'm not a PlayStation fan like that. Now, if there's some bullshit that follows it, yeah, I'm speaking on it always. That's why the limited truth is here. Everyone I know loves Forspoken, and I get crap for it, but it's cool. We're all different. Yeah, man, dude, like what you like. Like what you like there, Shizno. Oh yeah, my internet is out. It sucks not being able to play. Hopefully they do remove it. Yep. I had the same issue a few days ago, and it annoyed the fuck out of me. The good thing though is that there's so many games on Xbox. I just started Ravenlock, because the myth of there's nothing to play on Xbox is just that it's a myth. It might as well be up there with your Greek mythology at this point. You might as well be one day in a school book like, so what mythology we gonna learn about today? Is it the Romans and Saturn, the Greeks and Zeus, or Xbox and no games? And they'll all be legit, learning of how mythology works. Agreed. I play Redfall stealth as well. Great point. Sometimes I go stealth. If you don't play smart in Redfall, you're gonna die a lot. And I learned that super fast. I'm not a run and gun type dude in games in general, but you cannot play Redfall like an idiot. One thing I like to see in Redfall is a locker for your guns you want to keep. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Hey, what's up, Cray Simmons? Hey, it's all good, man. YouTube is wishy-washy with stuff like that, but the fact you stopped by means the world to me. Reviews never matter, especially from ACG and Skill Up. They tuned out the wolves in sheep clothing. Yep. Oh my god, I had the best experience from Xbox games. I don't know where those dudes get the crap that there's nothing good. They lost their mind. Yeah, that's because they want. I noticed this years ago, Shizno. A lot of these so-called gamers and journalists, they just want Xbox to be PlayStation 2.0. That's it. And they're not going to be happy. That's why notice how the new IP argument has died, because Xbox gives you new IPs all the time. Now that's why they specifically say stuff like, why doesn't Xbox have their version of Zelda? Why don't they have their version of God of War? Why don't they have the version of Spider-Man? Because that's not PlayStation. If you want to play God of War so bad, buy PlayStation. On Xbox, that's never been their philosophy. Their philosophy has been play together. That's why their biggest games are. Have you noticed their games? Notice how almost every Xbox game has some form of co-op, multiplayer, or some type of way of playing with others. A game like Hi-Fi Rush is extremely rare for Xbox, where it's just pure unadulterated single player. You can't have anybody else. That's extremely weird, because that's not Xbox DNA. The fact that Xbox are now giving us single player RPGs like Starfield for the first time in a long time since the original Mass Effect and Jade Empire and Fable days really shows that they're maturing as a brand. I do want to see more Starfield, but I hope they show more. Yes, Avowed D Gamer. If Showcase has Avowed 10 out of 10, I'm gonna be 1 million. I'm gonna be full annoying fanboy if we see some Avowed gameplay, because I'm looking for that game more than any other game right now. You name a game, Avowed is over it for me, and that's just me personally, because Avowed is the next dream game for me, in the sense that Avowed is going to be Obsidian Studios without any restriction. Now I'm not saying that Grounded had restrictions, but it's clearly a small. If Grounded's a $40 game, you could get a hell of a lot of content out of Grounded. So it's impressive in that sense. But this is going to be full unadulterated. They're going to put their fist down with Avowed and say, nah, we're going to be in the RPG discussion going forward, in the same way that we look at Bethesda in their Elder Scrolls series, right? Or Square Enix in their Final Fantasy. That's how high they're going to be ranked after Avowed. Promise you. What's up, FaZe? There are articles this morning saying Indiana Jones movie is bad. No, it won't affect the success of the game. That's like saying Pokemon games are bad because the movies aren't good, right? That's like saying Uncharted. I'm lukewarm on Uncharted. Think it's extremely mediocre personally, but that's like saying, oh, Uncharted is a bad game because the movie sucks. These movies have no effects on how the game's gonna do. Resident Evil remake 4 remake is considered one of the best games of the year, and those Resident Evil movies were fucking horrible. So Indiana Jones, the game's gonna be fine. Zink said, true story. When ACG said Redfall was the worst game of 2023, I pre-ordered the $100 bite back edition. I love it, man. Love it. ACG ain't shit. I said many times, how can these people not enjoy taking a vamp and sticking it, watching it burn from the outside? That's just a cool effect. Yes, it is, Shizno. Very cool, man. Uh, my favorite, my favorite parts of Redfall are like those mini bosses. Oh man, I love fighting like the Shrouds and the Rook and all of them. Love it, because those motherfuckers, they'll throw it at you, and they'll have you a little chaotic, and the little chaos is always great for a fun time to me. I just think I knew I'd love it too, when he said that to some people, are just fake as fuck. Yeah, a lot of them are. By the way, Unlimited, Arcane sent me that Redfall said, whoa, really? Oh my goodness, Shizno, dude, congratulations. Yeah, that Redfall Series X looks amazing. And Xbox, I don't criticize you often, but man, guys, please make more custom consoles for sales, because I would have bought that. Go look at my videos, guys. I buy every fucking thing. So I would have bought that Redfall Series X in a heartbeat. I'm getting my wallet ready for whatever Forza Motorsport 2023 price controlling consoles are. Yep, same here, man. Same here. I literally got a gaming budget for myself because that's how much I'll be buying these things. You can get covered up in those vamp nests. Yes, you can. Yes, you fucking can, man. Them nests are a lot of fun, but they are no joke. Jay. Well, here's the thing, Jay, and I'm with you on buying the game. You support the devs when you play these games, because here's like people. Let's not forget, Game Pass is not free. It's not literally free. You do pay $10 to $15 a month, and it's like saying it's like saying, well, I'm gonna buy the DVD of The Office because I watched it on Netflix. No, you were supporting The Office when you were watching it off Netflix anyway, because you're paying for Netflix. What's going on, Unlimited? Didn't know. Yeah, man. Just doing something real quick. I want to hang with the chat today. Read all the comments, have a little fun with you guys, and talk some video games. Shiznell said, same, but the Zinc cannot wait for whatever Microsoft stuff they sell. Hopefully, they do a custom controller and design blast like they did Redfall. Yeah, I hope that whatever they do, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna jump on it anyway. Let's be real. You know, I'm an Xbox fan for reasons that they just keep giving me the type of games I like, the experiences I enjoy and stuff. Who has the Jade Empire license? Whoever has it, I'd love to see a ground up remake or sequel or both. Yeah, that's a good question. Do Bioware own it or does Xbox? I have to look into that. Hey, what's up, Jay? Jay said, I have a feeling Obsidian is going to show out on June 11th. Yeah, I really, really hope so. Cause I'm dying to see more of a Valve. And here's the thing with stuff like, when it comes to games like Avowed and Hellblade, there's so much word of mouth out there, Jay, about how these are going to be the next games to release. I could see one of those two games being their big holiday game, following Forza and Starfield in November, December. Grounded has a lot to offer for a small game. It's huge. Yeah, it's impressive. Like I was saying, I don't know if you were here. Well, you were here earlier, but I was saying how Grounded might be. That game might be the most successful ignored game right now, where somehow it has over 10 million players, but it doesn't even get mentioned, and it doesn't even get mentioned as a game from guys like Destin, which that was probably deliberate. That was probably deliberate because it's a good game, and they got to make it seem like Xbox has nothing, which and just isn't true. The Shrouds can be hard. The Rooks are tough too. Yeah, the Shrouds throwing that energy ball. I forgot what it's called. Is annoying as hell because if you're not paying attention and you're just focusing solely on killing him, those energy things will kill you. Yeah, man. If they had the custom Redfall consoles, listen. I bought all the controllers. You don't think I'm dropping another few $100s for the console? Come on. I think Xbox will start offering more game themed controllers through Design Labs. Yeah, that was a brilliant move. What they did with the Starfield controllers, because added that little personality to it goes a long way for collectors like me. Other thing, yeah. However, when you purchase the game outright, Sarah Bond says more games are purchased through playing them in Game Pass first. Oh yes, yes. Zinc 110% correct. Sarah Bond did say that Game Pass users buy and play more games. Not just play them, not just rent them, because that's the trigger word they love to use is rent. No, they buy and play more games if you're a Game Pass subscriber, up to 40% more, by the way. I know I buy more games because of Game Pass. Yeah, no, same here, man. There are pics of the system on Twitter. If you, oh yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because the fact that you won, humongous congratulations, humongous congrats. And oh yeah, so back to the Starfield. Starfield is not a make or break moment, and I want to bring this up because uh when you see it, it really does put into perspective how much bigger Xbox is. As of 2023, Xbox has a net worth of approximately 600 billion. For PlayStation, just PlayStation, not Sony as a whole, just PlayStation, 45 billion. And for Nintendo, it's 95 billion. And all of these are as of 2023. So I'm not pulling old ass numbers. I'm not digging through shit that's years and years ago. These are as 2023. And when you see the numbers in person and just in your face like that, you understand why why Xbox can buy these massive publishers. And because of that, you get situations like here it is. You get situations like this, right? The all, you know, all of these first party. And this is why Starfield, which is going to be great, but let's say in some alternative users, Starfield is the worst game ever. You don't have all these games because and one game does not kill all those games. And this isn't even every game Xbox has released or is working on, right? This is not so. When I see Paul Tossi, Destin Legarie, and everybody keep pretending that Starfield is this make or break for Xbox, I'm just not seeing it. You gotta give me some harder data than, well, Sony released all these games and then pretending that Microsoft doesn't release anything. You know, the other yesterday somebody mentioned how, I think they said Colt Eastwood said that he hasn't played anything good on Xbox in 2017. 6 years? If Xbox didn't give me anything good or fun to play in 6 years, bye bye Xbox. Listen, I love gaming on Xbox, but I love gaming on it because it gives me games that I love. It gives me the best access to hundreds of games that I can play anytime. Xbox gives me so much. That's why I'm here talking about it. But if Xbox didn't give me that for 6 years, listen, I'm sorry, I'm not such a loyal Xbox fan that I put my enjoyment for entertainment on hold. I would never do that. I would never on this face of the earth wait that long just to say, oh, Xbox, you finally got a good game. Oh man, wasn't the wait worth it? No, hell, fucking no. The wait for a Avowed is worth it because I got Starfield, because I got Redfall, because I got Hi-Fi Rush, Gears, Halo, and Forza. That's why it's worth it, because I'm playing other shit. I'm not. Listen, the PlayStation fans are so dry right now. They don't. I don't even see. Are PlayStation fans hyping up Final Fantasy 15? Genuine question, because that game comes out in a month. It comes out on June 16th. And think about it. Since The Last of Us in September of last year, no. I think God of War came out after The Last of Us. So yes, that's right. Since November of last year, about 7 months ago, PlayStation fans have not had nothing, because they're the fan base who put exclusives over everything, to the point that they tear down every other type of game. I don't get it. It'll never make sense to me to tear down multiplats just to just to prop up exclusives. I'm not going to do that. If I like Cyberpunk more than Redfall, I'm gonna say it loud and proud. If I like Assassin's Creed more than Gears, I'm gonna say it without the slightest hint. Because exclusives are great, they are, but there's a reason why multiplats and other games exist. Because I don't know about you guys, I can't play the same games over and over. That would bore me to tears. It, you know, it would have the effect on me of, like, I would feel like I'm doing a job if I only played one type of game all the time. That just doesn't sound like how entertainment media should be. If Starfield was really the linchpin, they'd have every single studio working on it, like Rockstar did with Red Dead Redemption 2. Wow, Shizno. Wow, yes, Shizno. My God, yes, my friend, yes, exactly. And here's the thing: there are definitely studios helping with Starfield. I believe the guys. Believe the guys who did develop Doomed helped them with a lot of the combat. And I think the Doom developers also helped with Redfall's combat as well. I believe I remember reading how with those two games, the gameplay was seen, wasn't really seen as that well. So they got them to help out, and that's normal. Having other developer teams work together, especially when a game is close to release, that's super normal. You know, yeah, man. Shizno comment, that was a Hall of Fame comment right there, Shizno. I never won anything like that. Yeah, yeah. That's what sucks about the contest, instead of just being on just being in purchase. Shizno said, "Yeah, if there wasn't anything to play, I wouldn't still be here." I don't know why Colt said that. He just sounds hyperbolic, very hyperbolic. Because 6 years is a long time. Like, we went through a whole presidency in that 6 years, and now the current president is halfway through his current run, more than halfway. through his current run as president. That's a long fucking time for Colt to not enjoy his Xbox games. And there you couldn't pay me to be that miserable for that long. Starfield is the start of a new experience that most of us will get lost in the world for years to come. Yep, exactly. It's going to be like how people love Fallout and people love the Elder Scrolls and people still play Skyrim and stuff like that too, man. Because that's how those games work. They're immersive to the point of almost like living a second life. Why aren't Sony fans like Destin and Paul Tassi hyping up the PlayStation VR 2? Great point, Zinc. Because that game has flopped harder than a fish out of water. The writing on PlayStation VR 2 was on the wall from the moment they announced it. My theory has always been the only reason why we got a PlayStation VR 2 right now is because they put so much money into research and development and all that stuff that they gotta get something out of it. This can't be a scaled down situation where Microsoft paid nearly $100 million for the game and got nothing out of it when it was canceled. Shinzo said, "Neither have I. I was so surprised and leery. I wasn't sure if it was real when they first emailed me." Yeah, man. I've been thinking. I would think that's a scam too. ID Tech helped. Yes, Zing. Yeah, that's right. It did help. Oh my god, I think we will get lost in Starfield. I can't wait to explore that universe. Yeah, Shiz, no, I'm with you there, man. I can't wait either. And here's the thing, I love listen, I love Mass Effect. I really I love really love Mass Effect. Really love the Outer Worlds. Another space-based adventure and RPG. You don't think Starfield's going to take up my life? Come on. Of course it is. Hell, Starfield might end up being my favorite Bethesda, my new favorite Bethesda game. Right? There's a reason people say Bethesda soft games. They're big and immersive. Yep. They are massive, man. You could do stuff like get married in Skyrim. These games have no limitation on their creativity and freedom. That you could do in those games. Hey, Patrex, man, what's up, my dude? I wondered if I should be worried about Starfield if it was a multiplat. Nope. Nope, not. Listen, if it was a multiplat, it'll be people will be waiting outside in the cold like they did in 2011 for Skyrim, Paltrex. There will be zero, zero, zero worry. That's right, Shizno. ID did help with Redfall. Yep. Mass Effect is my third favorite all-time game. Yeah, Zink. It's extremely high up there for my favorite as well. At one point, Mass Effect was my favorite series, pinpoint blank, but it's been long enough to where other series and other games have kind of topped it, but not really. Remember the legendary Mass Effect Legendary Collection was excellent. It was great to play them games in 4K 60. I can't wait to see the Creation Engine 2.0 also. It's got a big update for Starfield. Yes, great point. Great point. I do remember them talking about the engine. Like one of the reasons why Starfield has taken so long, because this is their first time working on that engine. Or that version of that engine. So you're right, Shizno. And you remember last year, Todd Howard was saying, look, in Starfield, we could do the type of stuff we could never do in Fallout or the Elder Scrolls. So yeah, you're right. Starfield is going to be very innovative of a Bethesda game. Excuse me. Word up, Starfield would be game of the year if it was on PlayStation 5. Not only that, Paul Tassi article would be like Starfield is going to kill Xbox. That would have been the narrative. That article you see on screen, that would have said that shit would have said, yes, Starfield is going to kill the Xbox the rest of the generation if that game was exclusive to PlayStation. All All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let's see. Right, they would be building that engine while making the game like 343 did. It takes time. Yeah. Um gaming development take I really and truly just don't think that that gamers or the gaming media, whoever, have no clue just how time consuming making video games are, especially if they're going to use, especially if they're built from the ground up, or if they're on, or if they're do like new engines and new IPs. Those are clearly the hardest and the ones that takes the most time. Patrick again. Love Mass Effect, by the way. Yeah, Mass Effect is a spectacular game, and an even better overall series, in my opinion. Hell, I'm one of the people who loved Andromeda. Fun fact: last year when Xbox did the did that did the virtual world for the 20th anniversary, and you could put your your avatar in their world and check your historical stats. Mass Effect Andromeda was on my top 5 most played games ever on Xbox. Games are taking longer to make nowadays. They're bigger and more detailed than ever now. Yeah, those media people don't seem to get that. Yeah, and it blows my mind, Shizno, that they it's like a lot of them think that the gaming, like if okay, you know how far a lot of games are super far in development by the time we see the public sees them. By the time for the first time we see a game, they're pretty usually a lot farther than we think, right? And so yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think they realize how time consuming, how much manpower goes into these games, especially a game like Skyrim. Their first new IP in 25 years. Got my fix. My oh sorry. Got my space fix with Moons Mountains though. I've if you heard about it. No, I'm gonna look up Moons and Mountains later because I never heard of that. Sounds interesting though. Space is such a great concept for a video game in general. And that you could do a lot with the space concept. Yeah, yeah, you could do a lot with that. Yeah, so uh sorry about that, guy. Just had a bit of a brain dead moment there. Yeah, so Starfield's going to be spectacular. The Xbox, this Xbox fans, look at what's on screen. You're going to be fine. You're going to be 100% fine, right? Shizno said, I'm a sucker for any kind of space exploration. Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I love the concept of exploring the unknown, the greatest unknown there is. But yeah, but like I was saying, the future Xbox, well, really that should be called the present Xbox because a lot of those games has already been released. Is is fine. You on Xbox, I think we could admit now, Xbox has the best variety of games in terms of the big three console makers. Because with Xbox, you get a strategy game like Age of Empires, a racing game like Forza, your person shooters in like Halo, your open world horror games like Redfall. I'm not even sure what Contraband is going to be like. I have no fucking clue. I just know that it's been announced and it's being published by Xbox Game Studios. That's all I know. Terrence Smith Jr. said the CMA made the UK look like it's closed for business now. The Prime Minister had to step in. Yeah, I was reading Terrence on how on how their nonsensical move is affecting UK to an even a larger extent than I would have thought. Terrence, because the UK apparently wants to be the next tech hub, the way Silicon Valley is, and like how they're good tech out there in South Korea and stuff like that. That's what they want. But when they move moves like this against a tech company, what tech company is going to be like? Hey guys, let's start doing major business in the UK. It's going to have the opposite effect. We'll be fine, and so will Xbox. Yeah. Here's the thing, Shiz, though, Terrence and the rest of the chat. How is the $600 billion brand in jeopardy because of one game? This isn't the Call of Duty situation. Phil has never said, "Yeah, but that Call of Duty money is what's funding our purchase to get Activision." They never said, they never said anything crazy like that. It's Sony who are the ones who say things like our exclusives aren't making money. Third party is how we're funding them and so on. It's Sony who are the ones who said things like, what was it that they said a few years ago? Oh, that's right, that they're making less AAA and big budget games. And under the excuse of, hey, it's going to be better quality. Sony are the ones who they don't care about smaller games for some reason at all, which is nonsense to me because a lot of these smaller games are the breath of what makes gaming gaming. We need our hi-fi rushes. We need our gunks. We need those games in between the big heavy hitters. You look at baseball. Not every player on a baseball team is a home run hitter for a reason. You need a guy that could steal bases. You need a guy that could get you to that could get you an easy base. You need that. So you need that. The Xbox game portfolio is a well-rounded team. It's not a football team that's just all quarterbacks. You can't win. The quarterback needs somebody who's speedy, who could break past corners and get open so they could throw to them. But yes, Sony's philosophy is we're gonna have a team of nothing but LeBrons. That doesn't help. LeBron needs shooters around him to be successful. As great as he is, Michael Jordan needed great players around him to be successful, and I think he's the best basketball player to ever do it. Hakeem Olajuwon, the greatest player in NBA Rockets history. He needed the pieces around him, players around him that did other things, that specialize in other areas, and that's Xbox in a nutshell. Yeah, man. Sony, when Sony signs that deal, Terrence, it's definitely going to be one of those last minute stroke at midnight type of deals where Sony has exhausted every potential avenue possible. And after they did that, after their futile attempts to stop this deal once again fails, then and only then will they finally bend the knee, bite the bullet, and sign that deal. And I don't know why that company tortures themselves like this, man. Just throw in the towel. China and countries like China, Russia, and the U.S. don't agree on anything, and yet and yet they all they all agree on this. It Redfall. Redfall is this feels like Xbox last chance. Come on now. Don't insult me like that. Don't insult the viewers like that. Don't do that because you gonna get me on here, man. You gonna get me on there. You want unlimited to speak? Say this nonsense. After years of waiting, Xbox desperately needed answer to God of War Ragnarok or get lost in the world like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Really? What? Why does what answer to God of War Ragnarok does Xbox need? Xbox has like 6 games that are way fucking bigger than it. Where's Sony answer to Minecraft? Where's Sony answer to Halo? Hell, every time Sony tries to answer Halo, that game really ends up dying. Hayes, anybody? That game had no shot. Killzone. Sony lied about Killzone, made the game look 10 times better than it actually was, and the game still failed and couldn't touch Halo. So yeah, what's Sony's answer to Hi-Fi Rush? What's Sony's answer to Forza, the Forza Horizon and Motorsport? Because Gran Turismo sure ain't their answer to it. you know, so 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 when these guys use the word desperately, it always blows my mind because desperately, get desperately to me tells me that Xbox has no answer. That they don't know what they're doing. That's what I see when I see the term desperately, right? When I see the term desperately, I don't see I don't see that as Xbox. I don't see that as Xbox fans. I don't see that as the average Xbox gamer did not drop $500 for the Series X or 300 for the Series S and like, man, I can't wait to play Xbox version of God of War. If they wanted to play God of War that bad, Destin, they'll buy a PlayStation. You know, and this idea that it has to be. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's going to be a fantastic game. But this idea that Xbox has this weird pressure on them, they act like Xbox has the pressure LeBron had in 2010 before he won a championship. Like y'all remember that over a decade ago, where man LeBron's never going to do it, is he? Then it turns out, oh, he ended up having a hell of a career. That's how they act when they say stuff like, "Good isn't enough for Starfield." Why not? If there's bugs and stuff, Cosmic Craft, that Xbox ability to reach quality games is going to take a hit. Really, how much worse can it get than right now or 2017 when y'all started the Xbox has no game nonsense? All that's going to happen, Destin, is there's gonna be some type of bug. It's not gonna be game changing bug, but they're gonna hyper fixate themselves on whatever issue Starfield had, and then they're gonna pretend that it's a bad game. When Xbox fans are gonna play the hell out of it, enjoy it, and it's gonna be, hey, Starfield had 20 million players. Um, and he said the last big hit for Xbox was November 2021 with Forza Horizon 5. So where are the games, Xbox? That's what everyone wants to know. The time for promise has been gone. Not the time for action. Uh, 1 month, less than a month after Forza Horizon 5 came out, Halo came out. He does know that, right? You see. I don't understand how Destin has this big platform when he just ignores stuff. He just ignores so much. He literally thinks that this almost 2 year stretch since Forza Xbox is giving you nothing. That's what he's you know. And then you look at it and it's objectively not true. And Destin, just type in. You could type in how many the how many games, how well these games are doing. You do know that, right? You do know that at your fingertips that made you type this article that you could just in a sense fact check yourself. Terrence Smith said, "Bro, and the CMA did disclose information on them beating the FTC, and they got caught on it. Yeah, and that's going to amount to nothing either. The U.S. is going to prove it. Listen, the CMA is not this massive, big old functioning body that could think. The CMA does not have the power to will over the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. You and let's stop. Can we stop pretending that's a thing? Can we stop pretending that Lena Khan talking to them is a big deal? It's going to amount to nothing. All it's going to amount to is that yeah, we approved it, and life is going to move on, and everybody's going to be a lot of haters are going to be upset for no reason, even though they have all the time in the world to just accept the inevitable. The Zinc said Hayes, Mag, Resistance, Killzone are all dead Halo killers. Yep. They are dead, and it's funny whenever I see people say, "Well, Sony, just make your own SOCOM." It failed back then. What makes you think it's going to survive now? It failed then. Killzone failed. Resistance, Mag. I remember Mag wasn't really supposed to be a big deal because that's had like 120 players at the time, online players at the time. And with that gimmick, what happened? Nothing. I think it was hot for a small minute, maybe. Hayes was just genuinely terrible. The era of like Hayes and Lair and all that stuff, just some of the worst PlayStation games they ever put out there. Yes, and Lena Khan got exposed as well because of that. Yep, she sure as hell did, and she did all that just to be on the losing side, of this. That's all she did, and let's see here. Lena Khan thinks she is the shit ever since she won that Epic Game lawsuit with Fortnite. Yeah, I think her track record is actually pretty pathetic outside of that one win. I'm very confident that it is. You know, Terrence. I am like almost 100% confident. She does not have a good track record or anything. And so look at this hot take. Starfield is Xbox most important game since Halo One. No, no, no. Halo One set the tone for the Xbox brand. Halo 1 is the reason why we have an Xbox brand. Halo 1 was a phenomenon in gaming culture. Now actually larger than that. Because I'll say that you could say this. There are a lot of people who never held a controller in life who would recognize Master Chief. And when you achieve that, you break the gaming bubble. Like there are people who there are people. I guarantee that there are people who could still name Sonic, who could still point out Mario, who could still point out Master Chief. They can't point out Nathan Drake. They can't point out. They wouldn't be able to. My dad would not be able to point out the Kratos. He would Master Chief. Even if they don't know their name, they at least know. Oh, that's the Halo guy. That's the shooter guy, something like that. So yeah, it's a crazy hot take. Not only that, Halo One released was released as when the original first console first came out. Starfield is not the first big game of the Xbox Series X or something to where you could make that comparison. And eh, so yeah, I think I'm gonna start wrapping it up there. I think I got everything I want to say out of me. uh it's just so hilarious to me that Paul Tassi and Destin Legarie sat here and they're trying so hard to convince us that Xbox is on its last leg. That it's a old racehorse waiting to be put down or something. To be honest, Halo One started. Halo Two expanded into greater heights. Yep, and when Halo games like Halo Two and Halo Three came out, everybody was at a fever pitch for those games. People still games like Halo 2 and 3, Terrence, people think so fondly of those games. They have fond memories of when they bought it. Not even just when they played it, but when they fucking bought it. You could still find people today, Terrence, that could tell you down to the minute when they first bought Halo 3. And just the hype around it before it released, much less after it released. So so yeah, Xbox, the $600 billion company, is gonna be fine. Starfield's gonna be great, and Xbox gonna be fine. Redfall's gonna be great. I mean, Redfall's a very awesome game, and Xbox is fine. The closest issues to Xbox, had a last chance was probably right before Phil was made head of Xbox. That's probably their one opportunity that headline would have been true. That something's Xbox last chance at redemption. That maybe, and even then, I would call bullshit on that. But you would at least have somewhat of an argument because that was when Don Metric left. I think he went to uh he Don Metric left and Phil was put in charge. And Phil, super new at the job at the time, was still basically learning a lot on the job, basically, like you said. Terrence Smith said, when Halo 3 comes out, then Gears started. Yeah, yeah. Well, hold on. No, Gears came out the first Gears came out in 2006. And it was massive then. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Terrence, because I remember Gears came out before Halo 3, and that game was massive, massive, massive. And I'll say this about Gears and Gears 1 and Halo 1, they did something that extremely difficult, and that they did change gaming, because after Gears 1, every fucking 360 game try to copy it, even down to the color palettes. So, you look back at those 360 games, a lot of them were very dark, with the muddy color, the earth tones, like your grays and browns and stuff, all because of Gears. The cover shooters got mega popular for third person shooters because of Gears. Gears, its influence, it's up there as one of the most influential games behind games like Halo and Mario and all that. So yeah, man, I just wanted to point that out. Hey, what's up, Jeremy Brown, man? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. We just hanging out, having a little good time today. And I'm just hanging out with the chat, you know. Joe Sinister, what's up, Joe? Paul Dossie, excuse me. Paul Tassi and Destin are dependent on these bad faith takes because it gets clicks. They don't even believe the shit they say. Yeah, you're probably right. You know, you're probably 100% correct, Joe. Well, okay, definitely for the tricks, for the clicks. We all know that. We all know that. But I'll say this: I do think Paul more than Destin believes this stuff. I could see Paul Tossi as he's writing as he wrote that article. I could see him thinking he made a great point. I could 100% believe it. You know, when pushed on Twitter, Destin couldn't even defend his own argument. Just told people to read the article. And as I was reading the article throughout the show, I was pointing out how it's nonsense here. How it's just a bunch of nonsense that where he cherry picks where one minute, he could he'll praise um a smaller game from PlayStation like Kena or Stray. But when it came to Hi-Fi Rush, a game that had universal praise, he had to put that qualifier of how Xbox fans are still looking for that big AAA experience. If listen, if I was a PlayStation channel, I wouldn't be doing this right now because I would have sold my PlayStation already. Because I'll be damned if I was a PlayStation fan who bought all these games on PS4 and Sony just literally resold them to me. And most of the library is shit that I played last gen. I hate that. I would hate the fuck out of that. You know. Xbox, who I think have the best games and the most variety of games, and gives us most bang for our buck, has the best controller, just have everything working for it right now in its favor. Uh, it's extremely. You'd have to make a hell of an argument for me to ever think that Xbox has last chance in anything. You'd have to come up with some form of number or some form of proof, Joe, for me to be like, yeah, I think I'm worried about Xbox. Even if Xbox releases a game I don't like, it's not a big deal because it's one game in the sea of hundreds of thousands. It's just impossible to make or break. Xbox doesn't have this tiny minute library to where I'm stuck playing a certain type of game or I need that one game to be that great to justify my purchase. It's already justified the moment I had Game Pass. So I got access to nearly 500 games right there. You know, this isn't Nintendo where Nintendo doesn't get any major games, and the few they do, they either running bad or something. Like Hogwarts Legacy, the Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy was able to run on the Xbox One and PS4 before it was able to run on the Switch. That's pathetic. The Switch came out 3 or 4 years after both consoles. It's pathetic that Nintendo consoles are so weak. You have to be a Zelda fan. See, I don't have to be a Gears fan to like Xbox because I can still play Redfall, Halo, Forza, Starfield, and so on. I have to be a Zelda fan to be a Nintendo fan because I don't get the next Assassin's Creed. I don't get the next Mass Effect. I don't even get smaller games like Solstice that released on the PlayStation and Xbox. So I have to be a Pokemon fan or Mario fan, or else I'm gonna be miserable. And the problem with something like Nintendo is I'm just not a Pokemon fan anymore. I was when I was 10. Pokemon was the shit when I was 10, but not at 33. Are you kidding me? Throwing Pokeballs and Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu. That shit does nothing for me. Joe Sinister said Hi-Fi Rush was a high quality game. It got dismissed because it doesn't fit their narrative. Everything from gameplay to voice acting to animation was top notch. Yep, one of the best games you're going to play this year. Um, the pure, it was just so wonderfully fun, so wonderfully creative, and I understand some people had issues with say the timing and stuff like that, but that was their vision, and damn it, Xbox let them make their vision for that game. Exactly. Nobody with common sense would buy their narrative. Nah, man, because the narrative doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Hell, if you own, let's say you own hundreds and hundreds of games on PlayStation, and you didn't like God of War, but you still have Spider Man to play, and I think a lot of those PlayStation games are boring bullshit. But for the PlayStation fan, even they would listen. And not only that, to me, I think it's impossible to like every game anyway. Even someone as positive like me, who likes every fucking thing, um, in a hyperbolic sense. I don't even like every game that I don't even like every Xbox exclusive that's been out. You know, I've been saying it for years. Sea of Thieves, not for me. I love that the game had massive success, but when 2018 when that came out, and I think March, and then a couple months later in May, State of K release. State of K won me over it. I was all in on State of K. Still can't get into Sea of Thieves like that, and it's the bigger, arguably better game to a lot of people. Terrence said, "I still have Jade Empire on my Xbox. Love that game. Yes, same here, man. Loved it as well. One of my all-time favorite original Xbox games. It was brilliant at the time. And the time when what made the OG Xbox era so fun, Terrence, was just how wonderfully experimental they were. With games like Kung Fu Chaos and Whacked and Jade Empire and Fusion Frenzy and Crazy Taxi 2, um, Gun Valkyrie. There is so much creativity and that you could tell in that era that Xbox was just throwing anything at the wall and see what stuck. Because while games like Malice and weren't exactly lighting the world on fire, I appreciate the fact that they existed. Just because they're saying, "Hey, this game looks like it'll be a hit," okay, put it on Xbox. They tried hard to get that mascot game out. They really tried hard with those type of games like Blinks. The OG Xbox era, man, with games like Blinks and stuff, they were trying to get their Crash Bandicoot, which it's funny, Crash is going to be Xbox mascot soon. But in 2001, 2002, oh man, they were all in on trying to find that one character that would resonate with them. Turned out to be Master Chief though, which was interesting. But man, I have a lot of fond memories of the OG Xbox era. Very very fun era. To a lot of people, that sixth generation is their favorite all time, and I could see why. There are a lot of just fun, creative games. New games were $50. So if two new games came out in the same week or in similar times, you $100 you could get both of them. That was a fun time. And and all them expensive ass retro games now, they were cheap as hell when they were in the used pile back then. Like Crash, same with Spyro. Yep, exactly, Terrence, man. But man, the OG Xbox just very fun. I loved it. 360 was also excellent, but the 360 though, I'll say this for me personally, I did miss a large chunk of that era. Yeah, I did miss a large chunk of that era, Terrence, because personal issues. I lost my whole gaming collection throughout that generation, and I was I was a broke ass college student then too, and my broke ass could not afford video games. Eventually, when I lost everything, I couldn't rebuild it until until the Xbox One generation, which is why I have fond memories of that generation. Because I played. Listen, I'll be the first to admit it. I played more games on my Xbox One than the 360, and it wasn't even close. Oh, it wasn't even close. The Xbox One generation was the one that got me back into gaming and got me back into gaming in almost a major way. It was like I swear when I got back into gaming, guys, it was the gaming equivalent of relapsing. Because when I first played Sunset Overdrive, 'cause that was the first game I played on my Xbox One when I first got it. Oh man, that I fell in love. Like, oh, that's right, gaming is the most fun fucking thing you could do after years, years and years and years of missing so much of it. So yeah, so the 360, great era, but it wasn't my era in the sense that I just missed such a large chunk of it due to personal reasons that a lot of my favorite 360 games I ended up playing when they were backwards compatible. Like like Alice Manalist Returns, one of my favorite games ever. I played it on the Xbox One X and Xbox Series X in 2020. Kingdom of Abular, a Hall of Fame game of mine. I didn't play that until it was backwards compatible on Xbox One. Right? So the 360, excellent era, excellent time, but I don't look at it as fondly as others because of that. There's some people who would say that they want the 360 era back. I don't. I long moved on. 360 era had a great start, but kind of slowed down towards the end. I still collect for 360 while still cheap too. Anyway, yeah, same here. Right now is a good time to collect for the 360 era because soon they're gonna reach that point that the sixth generation games have, where there's gonna be some really awesome 360 games that are gonna be expensive as hell only because of time, basically time and people are going to discover it again, and the price is gonna get jacked up, which I hate when that happens, but that's just kind of how markets work. The Zinc said Xbox One was my favorite generation until the Xbox Series generation. Yeah, man, definitely. Same here. I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. Beat more games and listen. There's a good chance in last generation, I might have played, beat, and bought more games than at any point in my life. Because remember, when you're a kid, you only get X amount of games certain times of years. Not Blockbuster was brilliant then because you could rent them. Your parents could rent them and then have to pay say $70 or $80 for some of them Nintendo games. Because the Nintendo games back then were fucking expensive. Oh my god. WCW versus NWO was a $70 game in 1998. NWO Revenge. I kid you not, guys. Yeah, yeah. I'm. That's how I know I'm getting old. Where I remember stuff like that. Where I remember having to beg my parents to get me games, and so when you're a kid, you can only do so much. And then when I was in high school, the high school era of my life, yeah, I had a little. You get a little job by that, but again, you're not making money to just buy games like that. I bought used shit all the time during that time, though. I'll if because them used games were cheap, and you could stack up on a lot of that sixth generation games when I was a teen by how fucking cheap they were. Terrence said, Kingdom Amalur had that. I don't have the remake of. Oh, I got both, beat both, love both. One of the Hall of Fame game for me. Love it. If the Activision Blizzard King deal goes through, I want them to open back up the backwards compatibility program with Blur. I hope they do that too. I hope they do that too. I hope that opens up for the back. I hope that because remember, the homie Jane Ronald said, the biggest problem with the backwards compatibility wasn't really the tech, it was the legal aspects of it. And I think for a lot of them Activision, those old Activision games we don't get, Terrence. I'm assuming Microsoft owning rights and stuff would open that up for some backwards compatible goodness. Not the license stuff though, unfortunately. Which I would really dig that because Activision used to have the Marvel license and Transformers and Nickelodeon, and so that they used to put out a lot of really cool games as well. X Men Legends 1 and 2 and the Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They have some great stuff, man. Just great stuff. I don't when I look when I'm looking back at gaming fondly and then modern gaming, I also love gaming is just really such a spectacular hobby, isn't it, guys? I love gaming so much that's why it's hard. That's why it's so hard for anybody or anything or anyone to just convince me gaming now sucks. It's just way too difficult because I play too much stuff I enjoy, and I get so much joy and entertainment from gaming as a hobby that you're not going to sit there and tell me XYZ sucks. Like you could convince me a specific game sucks, but not the whole gaming culture as a whole. No, no. I don't care how negative it gets on Twitter. I don't care how negative it gets on YouTube. You're not going to convince me gaming is sucks. Hey, Radiance, thank you for joining. Hey, man, it's no biggie. I'm glad you made it. If you were to came 2 weeks later, the fact that you support in any way, I appreciate. Toolman 55. I still remember walking onto Walmart to buy the OG Xbox and seeing the pallets in the aisle of them stacked up. So hyped and excited when I bought it. Yeah, man, wasn't that a wonderful feeling. I wish we were able to get that. Wish we were able to get that kind of feeling during the Series X launch, but the pandemic really just screwed everything up. But yeah, man. Well, my story with the OG Xbox tool, man. My brother and I, we begged our dad to get the OG Xbox. Begged him, begged him. Dad, we'll do anything. We'll do anything. Please, please, please. And so at Christmas, my dad's he got it for us. We opened it up, and it was the Nintendo GameCube. So I would end up getting the original Xbox a few months later because my birthday's in April. So that's my story on on how I got my original Xbox, man. Man, but still, just loved it, man. Loved it. Gaming is a way of life for me. Yeah, Zeke, same here. I would not be here talking passionately about games if it was just something so. You know, if it was the equivalent of a if gaming was the equivalent to my life of a random TV sitcom, then I would not be there. No, because you don't just talk about random stuff like that. You talk about the stuff you love, and I love gaming, and I love that all you guys and gals in the chat love gaming. And I love that we could just chill out on a Friday night before I go back to gaming myself. We just hanging out, talking gaming. How's that not beautiful to some people? Why would you want to kill? Why would you want to kill that level of community we have? Oh, great point. Great points, Terrence. Gaming doesn't suck, but the business practices does. Yeah, yeah, good point, man. The business practices I can understand, because over the years we've had our share of nonsense with these business, and that's kind of that's how the business and consumer relationship kind of works sometimes, Terrence, where businesses try to do anything to get as much money as possible, and listen, everybody's got a limit, on how, and stuff like the microtransaction for a few years ago. People just weren't going to put up with it. But I don't think I'm not quitting gaming over it. Now, if every game was like sports games, I hate sports games now, where you can't play them without some type of virtual currency or my ultimate team and all that other dumb shit. If that's what every game was like, okay, I'd be with you there because that stuff killed sports games for me. I because you remember the old NBA 2K games, you could just do anything and play it right. But when you're in like my park and all that stuff or whatever it's called now on and you got your fake haircut costs 500 fake dollars. No, that's stupid. Gaming currency should only work like how in RPGs, yeah, you get money, but but the money you get is from playing it, and it doesn't impact your game to the expense it does with sports games. Like, why is my fake basketball player getting a fake haircut with fake money that I got to use real money to spend? That's nonsense. My fake money should be easily attainable on my fake character, who I can put any fucking fake design on at any time I want. That's how it should be. That's a cool story. Yeah, yeah, man, definitely, man, definitely. I got a lot of gaming stories, man. I could tell you about my dad's favorite game was Tetris. I'm pretty sure that's the only game my dad ever played before he had us. So my dad and I. So there's a time in my life where whenever my dad would, I see my dad. If he ever wanted to play video games, or one way he bonded with me was through Tetris, and we'll just be hours on hours playing fucking Tetris. Especially in the era where those companies would release those compilation games, like the Atari compilation and stuff. And I'm not, that's just an example. And so those games would have a bunch of games on one disc. My dad, it was all Tetris. And so that was a game that I bonded with him, because my dad is not a gamer outside. By any, he is not sitting at home right now on a Friday playing fucking Xbox. My dad ain't just gonna do that. But man, playing Tetris with us, with me as a kid, excellent, man, what a fond memory. And I'll always love Tetris because of that. I always love NBA 2K5, not NBA, NFL 2K5, because that was the game my brother and I bonded on the original Xbox on. The only sports games I play to this day is Pro Football 2K5. Yeah, yeah, man, that was a legendary game, very legendary. All right, guys, I did not realize that we went this long today. But I'm about to get ready to jump on my Xbox myself, guys. But yeah, all right, everybody, thank you for joining. Chat, it was wonderful hanging out with you guys. Zinc, Terrence, Radiance, Joe Sinister, um, and anyone else I'm missing. You guys have a wonderful day, excellent, wonderful weekend. Keep it gaming, keep it positive, and I am out.